Hello and welcome to the sewing studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make this little fabric brooch, and it's a really quick and easy project. So you're going to need some felt, some pretty fabric. So I've got some purple felt, I've got some pretty fabric here which is florally and it's got a little bit of gold in it, and I like that because I think it adds a bit of sparkle here. You're going to need a few beads to sew on for the centre. You're going to need a high tack glue, and you're going to need a brooch back for it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to bond together your fabric and some felt. So I'm just going over to the iron and I'm going to bond these together. So I'm putting my Bondaweb with the gluey side down onto the felt first of all. And then I'm going to break the back of the Bondaweb. So I do this just using a pin. And peel the top layer of the Bondaweb away. And so you can see here that you've got this gluey surface. It's not tacky, but you can see, so the glue's looking up at me. So now I'm going to put my fabric on top of that, and I'm going to put the wrong side onto that. If you're not familiar with using Bondaweb, I would recommend that you put a bit of greaseproof paper down on your ironing board and over the top, just to protect your iron from getting any gluey bits. Because if I haven't got this completely covered, let's say for argument's sake I've gone here, there's a bit of glue there and that's going to stick on my iron. So it's the heat from the iron which is going to make that glue melt, and that's going to stick my fabric to my felt. So to make this, we need 5 circles, and the circles are a 3-inch circle. So I've already cut one out, so I'm just going to cut out another 4. So I use one of these marker pens because this iron's off. Next, I'm going to cut out the circles. So when you've got 5 circles, you then fold them into quarters, and you're going to attach them to your base circle. So all I'm doing at the moment is I'm just going to secure them with a couple of stitches. So just a couple of tacking stitches near to the point, because in a moment I'm going to do this beaded centre, so my tacking stitches will be hidden. So you do that with all 4. And you just put them next to each other like this. So the quarters you just put next to each other, and then you sew them down. So once you've sewn all of your 4 sections together like this, you're then going to take a circle of felt. So depending on what colour you want for your centre, So here I've used a yellow with purple beads. So cut yourself an inch circle of felt, and that's going to go on the centre. But first of all, we've got to sew the beads on. So I'm going to sew some beads on now. You only actually need one stitch to hold each bead. And I'm going to use a neutral colour thread because the beads are quite see-through. So this sort of mushroomy colour thread is perfect for that. So I've knotted my thread. And I'll just pick up a bead. And I go down. Come back up. Pick up a bead. And you do that until you've got as many beads as you want. So you can see on this one, I've got quite a few. And then once you've got all of your beads on, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to pop that into the centre and you're going to stitch it on like that. And again, by using a neutral thread with this, you're not going to really see any stitches. So just tiny weeny stitches all the way around until you've secured it in place. And then once it's all secured in place, there's a runaway bead there. Once it's secured in place, you're then just going to push your petals a little bit so to make them stand up. So you can see both the felt and the fabric. And then for the back, because as you can see on this one, you can see your tacking stitches from where you put the petals on. So for the back, I cut a disc of felt, usually a slightly different colour. So on this one, you can see I've cut a disc of grey felt and I've stitched the brooch back on. So I would do that. That would be my next task. I would stitch that brooch back on and then I would put it on the back. Now I used this high tack glue for the back of this one, and I've made lots of these brooches and it really does work. So this is great for when you're sewing fabrics together. So I put the high tack glue on the back of my grey and stuck it on there and then just let it dry, and it's really, really secure. And as I say, I've made lots of these and it really works. It just saves you that last little bit of stitching. So that's how you could make a little petal brooch, which would make an ideal gift for, say, Mother's Day or a birthday. So, as always, make it your own, have fun, and I look forward to seeing you here in the sewing studio the next time.